Hello, this is Jenny Fern, and these 3 photos right here are the result of this video. This is all about harvesting and making dock seed flour. So first I said hi to my neighbors, the horses, and then headed out over to this big patch of curly dock that's growing out in this field here. And I guess let me back up a little bit. So first I'll talk about what is curly dock in a very vague, not scientific sense. It's this weed that you see here that grows all over the place in my experience. And it has some edible leaves. Depending on the season, they're better than others. And they also have, I guess it's the same stuff that's in like spinach. So anyway, you can't eat like a ton of it. So I have been on a journey this summer of finding out what plants are. This all stemmed from me starting a garden and also me pulling weeds out of my yard. And I wanted to know what the names of plants were. Partly because I was writing short stories all the time, and I wanted to incorporate, what I was actually doing in my stories with the names for everything. So I found out what this plant was called when I was writing a short story, basically about walking a dog in that field that is in the beginning of this video. And so I wanted to know what those plants were. So there's bindweed, there's other things, chicory, and there's curly dock all over that field. There's bristly oxtongue, there's spiny lettuce or whatever it's called. And so I started, finding out what these common plants are called. And this one is pretty interesting to me because you can eat it. You can eat a lot of the plants that are around us, which is pretty cool. This might not be relatable to people, but when I was a kid, I always was thinking, what other foods are out there? Like when I went into the grocery store, I was like, is there other stuff? This is kind of boring, and I kind of want to try something or see something that I haven't seen before. That was my kind of perspective. I knew about the Inca having a bunch of different types of potatoes, and I was like, why don't we have that many types of potatoes? That kind of stuff. And so that was my perspective as a kid. And so now, knowing a little bit about foraging, I am really excited to try these things out and actually see what I've been missing out on. And I have a theory that most of it's probably not very good, not very tasty, and that's why we don't have it. But also, some of it might be pretty cool. And so I did see a video. I did Google it as well. I looked it up of dock, harvesting dock, because I knew we had a ton of it, harvesting curly dock. And then I saw that you could take the seeds and make dock seed flour, and I was like, wow, that is right up my alley right now, because we have a ton of dock seed, and I would love to make flour. That seems so cool. Like a new flour. So basically what you can do is you take these, you could just chop off whole big chunks of this curly dock seed, and you can pull off the whole seed, like I'm doing here. And there are bugs crawling around. Sorry about that. I know it's kind of gross, but they were plants outside. So I tried to get the plants that weren't like super worse for wear. Anyway, what you can do is take the whole like husk with the seed inside and put it on a baking sheet and bake it in the oven for 5 minutes at 350 degrees. So that's what I did because I heard that it gives your dock seed flour a better taste, and I'm interested in that. So I put them in the oven, 5 minutes, that's it. And then after that whole thing, took them and put them into a mortar and pestle. So that's what I'm doing here, and of course, if you have a better grinding method, you can do that, but I don't have like a coffee grinder or anything like that. I have a mortar and pestle, so that's what I used. I wasn't able to like really crack those seeds very well, so there are some like more whole seeds in this flour, which, spoiler alert, I make brownies. When I made the brownies, they're a little bit crunchier, not just in the hippie sense, but in the real sense, because there are kind of whole seeds in it. Which you can see here, there's some whole seeds in this flour. So after grinding these seeds into flour, I then looked up just a basic brownie recipe. I found that, or I heard that this type of flour is better for something that's going to be more dense anyway. And the ingredients for this are baking powder, butter, flour, dock seed flour, vanilla extract, salt, cocoa, eggs, and sugar. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, maybe some of you can relate to wanting to eat things that are not in stores and maybe try this out on your own, but definitely do research to make sure that you're not going to accidentally poison yourself with, picking random plants and all that jazz. Thanks for watching.